House Radio.
What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to Rag House Radio. I'm your host, April Duran, interviewing women and girls doing amazing things. This evening, we have such an awesome segment. The women behind a movie currently being filmed, true story, Sam's Cry. Now, I have to tell you, we also have a giveaway by Whole Life Soaps, and I'm so excited about that, so stay tuned for details. But first, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Hotbox Vintage.
Hi, I'm Delilah, and I own Hotbox Vintage in South Pasadena, California. At Hotbox, our goal is curating vintage pieces that you can't live without. Our collection includes everything from the 1940s to even the early 2000s. What excites us is eclectic and unconventional styles, since there's no one-size-fits-all approach to fashion. Hotbox is priced for accessibility so that literally anyone can discover some vintage gems of their own. Plus, it's sustainable. Find us on Instagram and use code RAGHOUSE at checkout for 20% off your first order at hotboxvintage.com.
That's right. Delilah, the amazing owner of Hotbox Vintage, is giving us that privilege. So go ahead, check her out, hotboxvintage.com. They're located in South Pasadena. Punch in that code RAGHOUSE in the promo code and you will get 20% off your first purchase. Okay, let's do this. I have been patiently waiting for this evening. I have these amazing Latina women in the house. I haven't felt this much fire and power in here in a long time. Hi, ladies. How is everyone doing?
Great.
Good.
April, it's good to see you.
I know, it's good to see you too. It's so good to meet you. Let's go ahead and start off with introductions. Judy, can we start with you, please?
Yes. My name is Judy, and I'm the actual mother of Sammy. And I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, absolutely.
It's such an honor to be here.
Thank
I look
you.
forward
Thank
to
you.
this interview this evening.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. And Vanessa, can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Vanessa Romero, and I am playing actually this beautiful woman over here, Judy, in the motion picture Sam's Cry. So, yes.
Let's say that one more time because the volume.
Okay, so I am Vanessa Romero. I am the one that's going to be playing this beautiful woman over here, Judy, in the motion picture Sam's Cry.
Excellent. And Angel Ray?
I'm Angel Ray Romero, and I am the writer and the producer of Sam's Cry.
Awesome. And Angel Ray, okay, so everyone's probably going, what is Sam's Cry? So it's a true story, and I'm going to let Angel Ray actually explain what this whole production is all about.
Well, the story came along few years right after Sam's death. I brought it to the attention of a writer because I worked for Disney at the time, so I brought it to a person out there. At the time when we pitched it, I don't think he was interested at the time because mental health wasn't as strong as it is today.
How long ago was that?
That was in 2003.
Okay, so it's been a while.
Mm-hmm. So what happened was as time went on and everything has progressed throughout life and stuff, in 2017, I actually got a prophecy from somebody that told me that I was going to write and produce a movie.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And when he told me, it was right off the bat. I already knew what story it was.
How amazing is that?
Yeah.
So you've been a producer.
No, I'm actually a hair and makeup artist for Disney. I used to be
Oh
a former,
my goodness.
Yeah, I was a former artist for Disney as a hair and makeup artist.
Uh-huh.
And when I was told and prophesied this, I already knew what story was said. And this person didn't even know anything about my life as a hair and makeup artist for entertainment.
Uh-huh.
In fact, he was a black man from Nigeria that gave me this word.
Oh, that's crazy. Look at that. My hair on my... How did he know that? Yeah, so he just got it.
He sent me a God-given message. The God-given message was that God was going to assign me to produce and write a movie that was going to cause waves. That's exactly what I was told.
And so once you got that message, and you already knew, did you reach out to Judy or?
Yes, I actually, it was through a messenger. It was a text actually, so it wasn't something that he spoke over to me in words like on a voicemail or anything like that. It was actually written. And I went ahead and stepped out in faith, reached out to Judy, who I've been knowing since I was 15 years old. I've known her.
So there's history.
Yeah, there's a lot of history. So I went in and asked her, I said, hey, the only story that comes to my mind with this prophecy, I let her look at it. I said, is Sam's story. And I told her, and I think it's a right time. And I said, but I won't do it until you give me your blessings.
Right. Yeah.
And she said, go for it.
So can you tell the viewers exactly, just really briefly, because we're going to dive deep here moving forward, but Sam's Cry, the brief description of what happened.
Well, in 1999, Sam was actually ordered by court order to be evaluated upon an incident that occurred. And in that, he went to a place where he was going to be basically evaluated. And in that time, based on some, I don't know, maybe some things that they seen on bio, I'm not too sure what possessed them, but 4 hours later, they killed him. And so, I don't want to go through all the details of what took place, but mainly they violated his rights. And from that point on, Judy, Sam's mom, went into a whole different perspective of life and for her son, and that was to fight the injustice of what they did to her son. She stood on behalf of Sam, saying Sam pretty much did what he had to do through his mother and voiced her concerns about the injustice of what happened to him, and from that point on, it became, a story.
Hence the name Sam's Cry. Now, this is Sam's actual mother. This is Judy, the mom, the one who went through all this. Before I say any words, Judy, can you tell us what kind of person Sam was and your relationship with him?
Samuel was my firstborn, my first everything, my first experience with a child and breastfed. He was my spoiled little mijo. Sam was a loving child, a loving young man, and a protective one of his siblings. Sam grew in a time when his father was a struggle with drugs and was often violent. Mm-hmm. And he got the brunt of the whole thing, the violence in the home. And Sam was quiet to himself, an observer. He always observed. Mm-hmm. And so Sam, basically growing up, we divorced fast forward through the years, through 15 years of abuse and crazy living. We divorced, and Sam, I remember one day when Sam said, Mom, when Dad comes home, he's like a stranger, like he don't belong here. Mm-hmm. And he would run under his bed and just stay under the bed and hide. Mm-hmm. But the long and the short is that there was a time in his life when he was ordered, as Angel Ray said, to go for a psych eval. He arrived at that facility and was asphyxiated within 4 hours of arriving. It was unbelievable that somebody could go into a program and lose their life that quick.
Wow.
And so I went into something like any mother would have done, I think, is a fight mode.
Right.
Injustice and when they called me to tell me my son had an accident and that he had expired a few hours ago.
What?
But we have money and we have programs to help you bury him. And I said, wait. Expired? What do you mean expired? What do you mean he had an accident? Well, we have programs that could help bury him. And it was like, it was so insensitive. And mm-hmm. I said, no. What do you mean expire? As in die, as in dead, gone? And that was it. The injustice of what they did to him. And the thought that he was yelling, I can't breathe, you guys. And that was his last words. And it broke my heart, wondering, was he thinking of his sister, his mom? What went through his last seconds of life? But I wasn't able to see him for over a month because of an investigation. So I just went into fight mode.
Yes.
I said, this is not done till it's done. And this went on. I fought them for 5 years, all the way to Capitol, state Capitol, to change two laws. But I'm proud of my son today. And there was many, many mothers have gone through what I have gone through. Mm-hmm. And I've met at least 40 of them that have said, I could not have done what you're doing Thank you, thank you.
Mhm.
So in fighting for my son, I stood in proxy of many unjust killings. And when I saw the George Floyd killing, and he was asking for his mom, my heart broke. I said,
Oh,
"Oh
my
my God,
goodness.
oh my God!" So that Sam's "I can't cry," I mean, I can't breathe voice, and that comment fell on deaf ears back 20 years ago.
Mhm.
Or today, "I can't breathe" is practically an icon, and it has a total different meaning today in 2020. So I'm grateful to God that He's given me the strength, the healing, and the tenacity to want to just finish this thing through. And I always thought in my heart, if someday we could do a movie and expose these people, what goes on in psychiatric facilities, what goes on in jails, what goes on in mental institutions,
Yes.
what goes on in the streets with homeless people.
Yes.
That law enforcement or untrained people, they tend to escalate things instead of de-escalate.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
so many unnecessary killings.
Yes.
And it was so ironic when the lady showed up. She said, it was 20 years ago when my son, I can't breathe. And then ironically, with what had just recently occurred, the same thing, asphyxiated, correctly.
Right.
Am I saying it correctly?
Yes.
So if you're just tuning in, we have the producer, Angel Ray. We have the lead actress, Vanessa Romero, who's actually playing this beautiful woman right here, Judy. Judy experienced her son, Sam's, so unfortunate. He went into a hospital to be evaluated, and being there less than 4 hours was suffocated and in their terms expired. So they're
Yes.
currently filming in Hollywood the movie, and it's called Sam's Cry.
Yes.
So it is, I have chills, and I had to hold back tears when I was talking to Judy and Angel Ray when they first arrived, because this is like every mom's worst fear, every dad's worst fear.
Absolutely.
Something and that, it's just so detrimental, and you've gone through so much. So I actually have to, you said you were so proud of Sam. I'm so proud of her for
Right.
you going all the way up to the top
Yes.
and
Yes.
giving other moms hope, other parents
Yes.
hope.
All the way to Sacramento.
Yeah. His story actually changed 2 laws.
And that is huge. The 2 laws, what 2 laws were changed?
There was an AB 1421 law of forced drugging. They can no longer force drug. It's against the law. And the SB 130, which is the hog tie, where they body slam, they tie up the back of their feet. And so there's some stringent laws that came into place. And my son's case was very instrumental in those laws passing.
And that's for the state of California.
Yes.
So that's why in other states that these laws haven't passed. That's why we're still seeing this brutality, correct?
Yes.
With workers and officials. So tell us about the complex layers of dysfunction within the home.
Well, you see, I was a gospel singer. His father was an entertainer singer.
Mm-hmm.
We were both in entertainment, sort of. I was in the gospel. He was secular. And so Samuel was always brought up around music and entertainment. The father also was on drugs, so it was very dysfunctional. We didn't have normal hours. Mm-hmm. He said, "I'll be home for dinner," and didn't show up for 2 or 3 days. Mm-hmm. Or sometimes he'd come home and it was very violent. Mm-hmm. And I'd get the slap around the kitchen cupboards or on the floor. And it was just, and Samuel, being the oldest, witnessed a lot of the trauma. Mm-hmm. Yes, I just couldn't. And I would always try to hide, and he'd say, "Mommy, why are you crying?" And then I would tell him, "Mijo, I'm just praying to Jesus. I'm just praying." I was just in the room praying. Mm-hmm. Then when he was about 8 or 9 years old, he said, "You're not praying." How come every time Daddy comes home, you look like that? Mm. He makes you cry. Yes. And I started realizing that children, they're more observant than we give them credit for.
Oh, absolutely.
So he saw a lot. Felt a lot. Children know a lot more than we give them credit for.
For sure. And his siblings, you said you had other children?
Yes, so Samuel, Abraham, and Sarah.
Oh, okay. Very
biblical names.
I was just going to say that. Hence her book, which we're going to talk about the PK. She goes, "Do you know what a PK is?" I'm like, I interviewed just like a few of them not long ago. PK kids, pastor kids. So, so the other children. Oh, first and foremost, how old was Sam when they ordered his evaluation?
16.
He was young.
Very young.
He was young.
Never been away from home. Never.
So they just took him without you.
He wasn't a problematic child. He never had a problem at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they came to the house to pick him up for something that they said he was involved with. So
wow,
the rest is history.
Yeah, and so the siblings, I'm sure. Gosh, it hit hard with everyone. You, the siblings, were they
devastated?
Yes. So
the sister and the brother were devastated, as they are today. They're not as healed. They don't cope with it as I do in my faith and in my healing today. They still are in that mode of woundedness. My daughter still cries to even talk about it. Angel Ray and I were talking to her the other day, and she just said, "I don't even want to think about it," and she starts to cry because they're still hurt about that.
Oh gosh, absolutely. I'm sure for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Now, Angel Ray, are the siblings part of the production of Sam's Cry?
Actually, no. I basically took off with the story by casting many people that I know in entertainment, and but I did speak to Sarah about some things, regarding the story and how she felt about it, and she expressed that it was fine, that she was okay with it.
Were they part of the, like, for instance, Vanessa playing the lead? Judy, were you part of, oh no, I don't want her. I want her.
No, to be honest with you, I'll be honest with you. When I first came to the directors regarding this story, I went to 2 directors that I've been in, because I've been in entertainment for 25 years, but with Disney. So outside of Disney, I still did a lot of things with filming and stuff with independent film for Chicano Entertainment.
Oh, I love it.
And so I went to the 2 directors about it, and they kind of frowned. I guess they frowned that I was casting everybody, and I'm not a casting director. But, the thing is that I looked at this project that when I casted people is because I have all my people on Instagram who are entertainers. And I knew if I handed over to a director, they weren't going to cast the people that I thought would fit the characters.
Oh, hell no. They were not.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I was like, no, I'm not going to, no. Because I had one person said, "Hey, why don't you cast?" I go, no. Because I'm specifically picking people for the purpose of that character because I know they can do it.
Yes.
And I've seen them act.
They're talented.
I've seen them, yeah. And so with Vanessa, it was a different story. I'm going to tell you.
Oh, here we go.
No, I'll tell you why.
I'm just kidding. I know.
No, I had already casted someone.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And when we came into the contract, this person's stipulation was so beyond my reach of what she wanted, the expectations. I'm like, I can't. I can't do that for you. And she goes, "All right, well, then I can't be the actress. I can't take the..."
Just left you high and dry.
Yeah. I had a full-on cast and everything. And so she told me she couldn't, because she couldn't go with the contract that I've written out. And I kept thinking, who can I get? Who can I get? And I couldn't think. And all of a sudden, I'll be honest with you, Vanessa's my cousin. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Did you know that,
Judy? No, but this is what happened. So I said, God, Vanessa sings. I don't know if she knows how to act.
She's a creator. She's an artist.
She sings, right? And I had her sing for a lot of things for me, myself, my family and everything. And I just said, you know what? I got to call her. And I kept trying to reach out to her. Finally, I left her a message and told her, hey, I'm going to be doing a movie and I need an actress. And it was, are you willing to do it? And being that she sings, because the other girl didn't know how to sing.
Oh, so gosh, you got like a double.
Yeah, I got double portion here. Because Judy sings.
That's right.
And so the thing is that the other girl, she did not sing.
And play the piano.
And Vanessa.
And you play the piano.
Yes. And Vanessa plays the piano and sings.
Perfect.
And when I seen her act, I was like, oh, no. This is it.
This is it. Oh my goodness.
And for a while, I didn't tell the cast that she was related because I didn't want them to think I'm going to favor her. You know what I mean?
Well, you know,
but
just
at the same
all
time,
who you know.
And then at the same time, I was like, okay, she's my cousin then, you know. But I mean, really, and in all respect, though, Vanessa has ran this race tremendously.
Oh, yeah. Vanessa, I've known Vanessa for a couple years, but what I do, and, you know, we don't know a lot about each other, but what I do know is she's a go-getter.
Yes.
Full on, goes in head first.
Yes, she
and
does.
she just pounds away. And she's a creative.
Yeah.
You know, as we all are here, whether you're artists.
She's beautiful.
And she's beautiful.
Yes. And, you know, it's funny because on my dad's side, her dad and my dad are both cousins, first cousins. And we kind of laugh about certain things because we know our fathers, you know, they're passed on. And we know that our fathers are actually looking after me and her.
Right.
This whole production. Because it's just, we just know, we could feel it. And she, and I go, we could just imagine what our dads are saying to each other. There's our girls, there's our girls, there's our babies, you know, this and that. But, you know, on my dad's side, there's her, you know, there's a lot of entertainers on my dad's side. They're either singers or artists in some way or another. They're all into entertainment. So that's something about my dad's family. That's where they come from. And Vanessa, man, she took this role like to the heart.
Great.
Excellent.
Yeah, she is. And then Judy is pleased.
And that's what I've always wondered when it's a movie and it's a true story. I've always wondered if the actual real people, you know, are happy with the ones they casted.
Of course. And that's what, yes.
Yeah. A lot of times they're not.
Yes.
So it's good.
Well, yeah, because
you know?
I'm going to be honest with you. The actor that plays the father does not look like her husband.
Oh,
at all.
okay.
They're totally opposite. They don't look nothing alike. But I mean, but Judy, she has been such a trooper with this.
That's
she really
awesome.
and supportive, and she's really, and you know, and we give her that place in the production to where we get feedback from her.
Right.
The actors go to her.
Uh-huh.
The actors actually respect her and go to her and ask her, you know, hey, you know, what he did this or what that, you know, and she gives them the feedback.
That is so excellent. So if you're just tuning in, we have the amazing women behind True Story, a film that's a movie that's being filmed currently. True story, Sam's Cry. It's about Judy's son 20 years ago who went for an evaluation to a hospital, and in less than 4 hours, he was suffocated and, in their terms, expired. So it's so crazy how everybody knows everybody. And you know what, Angel Ray, I'm sorry, I apologize, Judy, too, if you had said earlier, how did you know Judy, or did you hear the story? You know,
no, you know, it's so funny. I was very young, and I had went into, because I had a dysfunctional home myself. I came from a lot of abuse, a lot of, you know, trauma in the family. And I was in a Christian home at the time. I was 15 years old. And we were mandatory to go to prison ministry.
Oh, okay.
So I went on a prison ministry type event with our church, and, you know, I was in the women's home, so we had to go. It was mandatory, like I said. And it was a revival at Norfolk Prison.
Oh.
And where I met her, where I first seen her. And no kidding, we were just talking about this, Judy and I, and she became my mentor. But at that time, I was 15 years old. I went into Norfolk Prison. They were having a revival. Over 300 inmates.
How scary. Were you scared to go at age 15?
I guess I wasn't, because I was so around so much violence, and you know, that I think I was just accustomed to that type of lifestyle, you know?
Yeah.
And when I sat there at Norco Prison, we had a big old revival, had a bunch of churches, and her church at that time, her group was called Judy and the Chapel Singers.
Oh, cute.
And not only that, her father was, their ministry was called Set Free Prison Ministry. So we were in there with another ministry, and so when we went, they were up on their ministry, and they had them, and Judy had the whole prison rocking with her music.
Nice.
I'm not kidding you. And
we should have had you sing.
Oh my God, no kidding. No. And so there she was singing all these songs and these kind of oldie kind of style, and this I don't know, her style at that time was so amazing that I thought, oh my God, I love this music. I don't want to be hearing hymns, you know what I mean? So she was like in for me, you know. And so when I seen her, I go, God, I would love her CD or not a CD, a tape, you know, you know,
back then.
And then I
her 8-track.
There you go. Anyways, so I was like, oh my God, I love her music. And one day I didn't know how to get a hold of her. And one day they came out to our church to actually minister. And there she was again with her Judy and the Chapel Singers.
It was meant to be.
And it was meant to be.
Mhm.
It was meant to be because you're talking about 35 years later now. We're still friends. And we're like, really. She's my mentor. She was the woman that I looked up to at 15 years old. She was the woman that that would pick me up to go on passes. I would go to her house. I met Sam. I met all the kids.
I was just going to say, did you meet Sam?
Oh, yeah. Sam was 11 years old at the time. I think I'm like 4 years difference from him at that. And so here we are. We would go and she would pick me up so I wouldn't be out there with my friends to keep me out of, and I would go stay. Yeah. And I would go stay at her house. And I loved her. I loved her style. I always used to think, God, I want to sing like her. One day I want to have a voice like her. I can't carry a tune for nothing. But
I know, me too. I've always wanted to be a singer.
And when I would hear, and I would try to like imitate her and sing like her, like at home and stuff, trying to get those notes. Oh my God. And I couldn't hit a note for nothing. Yeah. So, but she's been there, and I lost contact with her for a while, for about a good 7 years. And I bumped into her again out in a ministry thing, and I yelled for her from across, I don't know how many feet, going, Jody! And she looked, she didn't know.
Oh, God, who knows me?
A crazy Mexican woman
That's what
over
she
there.
said. And I was like, Jody!
Yeah.
Jody! Where did you go? Why did you leave me? Because like she was just like my whole inspiration of what it was to be I don't know. I just looked at her like that. She had that mantle for me at that time as a mentor. And ever since then, I told her, you better never leave me again like that,
Yeah.
And from that day forward, she has always been by me through the whole entire journey, the last years of our lives, And we laugh. We just have a great time. I love her. She knows I love her. I do whatever I can to take care of her. Nice. I do. I take care of her. And she knows. She always has that. What is that motto you always say about me? You always say,
I'll always have a place to sleep, a place to shower, and a place to eat.
I'm
never going to starve.
She always says that. She's like, I just know with you, I'll never starve.
Yeah.
She goes, I'll always be eating with you. And I go, because I love to eat. So I'm always like.
And here we are 35 years, 40 years later.
Yeah.
35, 40 years later. And you... Gosh, what amazing stories, what successful stories as far as, you at age 15 and then you end up working for Disney for so many years and what you absolutely love in makeup. And
I did hair and makeup for the characters,
hair and
like
makeup.
All the Cinderella, Snow White, all the theaters. I did all the hair and makeup for them. Yeah.
That's so cool. And then here you are, you've written a book, you've had 2 laws passed.
Yes.
You're getting a movie made of something that's just so important, not only for you and your family, for the world.
That's right.
The message is for the world.
The message is for the world. And I'm going to keep repeating myself because a lot of people come in and out. But if you're just tuning in, these are the women behind a movie that's currently being filmed. True story, Sam's Cry. It's about Judy's son. 20 years ago, he went in at age 16 and to a hospital to be evaluated in less than 4 hours. He was suffocated by a couple of the workers.
Yeah, he was 29. He was 29 when he died.
Yeah,
that's what happened. Yeah, but I mean, he was evaluated in his teens, but as time progressed later in years, that's what took place. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
So
And it was all because he didn't want to medicate.
Because he just didn't want. He
didn't want that medication. He said, "I don't want medicate." That's why AB 1421 law was so important because now you can't force drug against the will. Nobody's
wow, that's great. Because I even hate painkillers.
Yeah.
So if someone was trying to give me, you know what I mean? Like, so thank you.
Can't force you no more. It's the law.
Thank you so much. So, okay, goodness, I knew time. Wow, time is just flying. We're supposed to be like at the 20-minute, and here we are, half an hour in. So, with these beautiful ladies, producer Angel Ray, actress, lead actress for the movie Sam's Cry, Vanessa Romero, and actual mom of son Sam, Judy, we have a lot more to discuss, but right now we're going to take a quick little break. We have a giveaway. Okay, you guys, check this out. Whole Life Soaps rules are right out of Wrightwood, California. Wow. Whole Life Soaps are made from natural ingredients like shea butter and coconut oil. Their soaps won't dry your skin. They smell great, and they leave you feeling clean clean. Whole Life Soaps is also local SoCal family owned business, which is so big right now for me, supporting the entrepreneurs of the small business.
Absolutely.
So when you buy from Whole Life Soaps, you're supporting your community. And remember, what you put onto your body is as important as what you put into it. So visit wholelifesoaps.com. If you want to win a prize, it's amazing. We used our soaps. He gave us some samples and they're gone because I was like showing them. It's 3 bars of homemade soap, a pack of 3 lip conditioners, which is so important right now.
That's great.
Call in 909-477-7321 and you could be the winner. The package will be delivered to you. They use all the precautions because of the pandemic, so don't worry about that. Again, Whole Life Soaps, call 909-477-7321. Let me put on my Bluetooth. I'm telling people to call and my Bluetooth isn't even on real quick. And then also I want to remind you that if you have any questions for Angel Ray, producer, actress Vanessa Romero, mom Judy of Sam, please feel free to go ahead and give us a call. 909-477-7. And we already have a caller. Nice. Look at that. Okay, here we go. Let me turn it on. Hi, this is April with Rag House Radio with Sam's Cry, women behind Sam's Cry. Who am I speaking to? Let's see. Maybe it's because I don't have my... Just a second. Hello, can you hear me? I see that you're in there. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to get this right. Let's see. Roadcaster Pro, it's in there. Hello, can you hear me? Just one second. Daniel Garza, if you can hear me. I've never had this problem actually before, so this is kind of weird. It looks like it's off right now.
I'm sorry, I can hear you.
Yay, there you are. Hello. Thank you so much for calling in to Rag House Radio. We're here with the women behind the movie being filmed, Sam's Cry. Who am I speaking to?
Joanne Garza.
Joanne Garza.
Hi, Joanne.
Hi, Joanne.
Hi,
How are you?
Judy. Love you, Judy.
Good to hear you.
Thank you so much for calling in. You are the winner of Whole Life Soaps. Yay!
Oh, thank you. What a blessing. Thank you.
Yes, you're going to love the soaps. There are 3 bars of soap and some conditioners and I believe some cream. They will actually mail it to you. It'll take like a week or 2. And thank you so much for tuning in. I have a question though for you. I'm sure since you know Judy, I'm sure you're just so happy to see that this production is up on its feet.
Oh, yes. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled for all the exposure and all the good that's going to come out of the story coming to light. Yes.
Now, how do you know each other? How are you? Are you family or?
She and my sister have been best friends for, I think, about 40 years.
Wow.
And so, of course, anybody my sister loves, I love too. And so,
right. So you
and we went to church together.
Oh, excellent. So you actually were around when this unfortunate incident happened then?
I did, but at that time, I didn't know Judy that well. But I would hear about it all the time from my sister in like the details and the closeness that I wasn't. I didn't know Judy personally at that time. But yes, since then I've heard all the story, read her book, and behind her 100%.
Yes. Well, yeah, I know. I just met this amazing cast here. I knew Vanessa prior, and just the love and the strength and, Latino women, man, we get shit done.
Right. Yes, right.
So, well, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you, Joanne.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be texting you after our show ends for your information so Whole Life Soaps can go ahead and send you your gift.
Okay. Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Excellent. So I don't know what happened there. There was a little glitch, but so we have a winner of Whole Life Soaps. So check them out, wholelifesoaps.com. They are amazing. So, okay, here we go on to our second part of our segment. Now we are going to talk to Vanessa who's playing the lead role, Vanessa here, who's actually playing Judy in the movie Sam's Cry, the mom. Yes. So, Vanessa, you want to go ahead and tell us how you received the role and how you prepared for the role.
Okay, so how the role came to me from Angel Ray over here. She called me. She called me on December the 12th. This was last year. And she didn't know this, but that was my birthday.
Wow. So you thought you were getting a birthday call.
Yeah. So she calls me and she's like, hey, because wanted to talk with you and stuff. And she just kind of started to share with me a little bit about this movie that she was doing. And she basically said, I want to know if you'd be interested in the part. If so, I need to know as soon as possible, because if not, I need to cast this. I need to figure out who's going to take this role. And I got off the call and I called my mom, and prior to her calling me, she had no idea what was happening and kind of going on in my own personal life. In 2019, there was just a slew of things that were taking place where literally my world had been crumbling down. So I get off the call, I call my mom, and I'm like, Mom, something so odd and weird just happened to me right now. And I told her, that I got off the call with Angel, and I said, this opportunity. And she's like, well, are you going to do it? And I'm like, I don't know. And this is why. And here were my excuses. My excuses were, I'm not ready for it. Life is too fragile for me right now. I am not equipped and prepared for this. I don't think I have what it takes to do this. And so at that moment, I was like, I'm just going to say no. I'm going to say no. And my mom's like, okay, well, she was just kind of just listening and hearing me out. And all of a sudden I felt something inside me, intuition, whatever you want to call it, Holy Spirit, but I felt it tell me, you have to say yes to this role.
Wow.
And the reason, when I say that, it literally puts chills throughout my body, because it's as if it happened right now. But you have to say yes to this role. You have to be courageous enough to say yes. Yes, you have all the reasons why you feel like you're not equipped and prepared and qualified to do this, but I need you to say yes. And here is why. I need you to say yes because this is how I'm going to bring your healing in your life. Beautiful. And as soon as I heard that, I was just like, I had this tug of war still where I was just like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to, although I knew, okay, it's evident you need to say yes. I call her back. I say, okay, I'm going to do it. Yes, I'll do it. So then, then from that phone call to then finally going and meeting the cast and crew, because I think at that time I was technically the only part that hadn't been filled. So it was like, you need to meet everybody else. I'm like, okay. So I show up to our first meeting, and I'm standing there and I'm looking at all these amazing, talented people. And I'm like, what the heck am I doing here? Everybody else here has experience with all of this. And here I am coming, I'm like, hi.
Your last drama class was 50 years ago.
Right. I was like, okay. But, so I'm there and I'm just like, every step of the way, I've just been just like, wow, okay, I'm here. Yes. And even when, we've already started to be, as far as production goes, it's already begun. And in our first weekend together, I get home and I'm just like, wow, this really happened. This is really happening. It's unfolding. It's happening. And I'm really just in awe of it. I'm really just, I'm absorbing, I'm taking it all in. I say I'm also like the fly on the wall because I'm just listening, I'm watching, and I'm taking everything in because I'm fascinated by the whole thing, the whole production, everything, every part, every single part of this production to me. Yeah. It's so fascinating because I'm just like, we all, no matter how small or how big it is, every part is so critical to the success of the story. Yes. Every part.
So this is your first set you've ever been on?
Yes. Yeah, for a movie. Yeah.
Yes. So that's crazy. Yeah. So you just jumped in, especially when you're saying you're going through certain things. Yeah. And it's almost like a blessing in disguise, really, because, things were happening and, you just decided to jump in and now you're here. I'm sure it's so therapeutic. Right?
It is in some aspects too, because okay, so prior to when I did say yes, I right away got on the phone and I'm really fortunate to have a very strong circle, a strong community of people that are very supportive to also my mental health and wellness as I'm going through, the shift and the changes in my own personal life.
Right.
People like amazing psychologists, family therapists, life coaches. I mean,
Wow.
I'm tapping into everything.
I want all those too.
Yeah. I got on the phone. I got on social media. I was texting these people saying, listen, I just said yes to this movie, but if for some reason I'm done with the scene and I can't seem to come out of that scene, I'm going to have to call you because I'm going to need your help to somehow come, to be able to, because there are parts, there are parts to this movie that literally shake me to my core, because in my first encounter with Judy, when she came to my home, I remember clearly telling her that there are parts of this movie that unfortunately I'm not going to have to pretend, because it's also my story too, in some aspects. So in those areas, those are the areas that really, for me, obviously are raw spots, and so, but it's really been a beautiful disaster, really. Healing it's great when you're done, when you're like, oh, I'm restored and I feel well and I feel whole, but the process to get there can get really ugly.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's ugly. It is. It's really ugly. There's nothing beautiful about that, but the end result is. And so, just being committed to that and committed to this role, has been very therapeutic, and I'm just grateful for my support system around me.
She's a naturalist.
That is so awesome. So you just tapped onto your support system.
Yes.
So tell us about your support system and the preparation for the role. Did you kind of just go through that right now, like what you?
Yeah. So preparation for the role kind of went like this. I reached out to Angel and I said, hey, listen, is it possible for me to meet with Judy, the person who I'm going to be portraying? I would really like to meet with her in person. And thankfully, Judy said yes.
Were you planning on that, Judy? Were you planning on meeting the lead? Oh, so that's good that you reached out.
I was like, and Angel had mentioned that to me too. She said, well, I'll see if she'd be willing to do that. And thankfully, Judy said yes.
Were you planning on? Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. But thankfully she did say yes.
I actually wanted to be in the background.
Yeah.
I didn't want to make them nervous or that I was present.
Right.
So I didn't want to meet people, but
I can imagine. You know what? You just saying that, I would have never thought, like, if I was cast as her and knowing that she was there, wow, nerves on top of nerves, just trying to perform, and then also knowing
that she's there.
The mama was there.
Yeah. She's natural.
That's
we get along
so
well.
It was actually
our spirits connect.
Yeah.
It was a good preparation for them to meet beforehand, because it made it easier on set. And it made it easier on set. And like I said, Judy's a big inspiration to many of the cast as they would come to her. And
that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
They were good.
So what I actually did, though, as far as preparation for the role, was number one, I did get the book. I wanted to read her story, not only like what was happening once the children were born, and Sam and his sister and his brother, but also knowing her story from the very beginning, and that this book goes into that. It was important for me to be able to piece her life before that and kind of fill in the blanks. And again, in preparation for the role, she's been to my home, and we've broken bread together. We've had time together where we've fellowship and we've laughed.
Had a couple tequila shots.
Oh yeah, all of that.
No, I'm just kidding.
A cup of tea, cup of coffee, but close enough. But so we've had that time together, and so I've taken all the content, everything that she's poured into me, and I've just kind of owned it, taken ownership of it as best as I can. And another thing that really, really touched me in such a very deep way is one of her visits. She came to visit me
on set.
No, at home, at my home. This is prior to us even starting filming.
Awesome.
She came over to my place, and she says, I'm entrusting you with this. I know, and I felt honored that she felt safe enough to do so. But she says, I'm going to entrust you with this. I'm going to leave this here for you for the time while you're filming the movie. And it basically is a binder with original photos and documentation, and just even some of her, like, her writings and her thoughts and her correspondences with various people in leadership, with everything that she had to do with the protesting and all that. So I've had this binder in my home. Was it hard to open up? It has been. Every time it's difficult to open up that binder, because
oh my goodness,
when I sit there and I go through it, I mean, I've in the privacy of my own home, I open up this binder, and I've had where I'm in tears and I'm crying.
Of course,
and I'm looking at this, and
it's a scrapbook.
It is. It's and so I have that with me right now, and that's part of if you're asking how are you preparing for the role, is really just getting in touch with who Judy is and what life was like for her in that entire process, and just being open to that, and sensitive to it, and being okay with those emotions, the rawness of those emotions. I mean, we just started on the film, and the first 3 days of this filming has been already intense.
That's like the Bible. That's like I'm not trying to put down the Bible per se. What I'm saying is that was your Bible through that time. That's a lot of sensitive, important, oh my goodness, fragile information.
Absolutely. So that's how I've been preparing for the role. It's
wow.
Just,
And I'd have to get comfortable with me to be emotionally naked.
Yes.
With my story, and everybody's going to read, and transparent.
That's very hard.
It is.
That's very hard, especially, I don't know if I'm stereotyping, but as Latina women, or for me, you know, I always want for my son and my, you know, my fiance and I want them to see me as strong, and, you know, we're moving forward. So to open up and just be raw, you know, and just, you know, so you had to go through that just recently,
just releasing it, because that was my pain. That was my time, and I never really took time to grieve in months. I had moments, but it was imparting to her part of my raw story that I never shared with anybody. I mean, everyone read it, the newspapers, everybody saw it, but they didn't know my personal little feelings and comments. So I had to be transparent. And if she was really going to play me, then she needed to have the whole 9 yards.
Absolutely. What city did were you living in when this occurred? Here, close by, right?
Yes, Los Angeles County.
Los Angeles County. So this all took place with a family in Los Angeles County. Yes. Sam's Cry, true story. The women behind the production, the producer, Angel Ray, lead actress, Vanessa Romero, the actual mom of Sam, Judy, sitting right here. And they're filming, you heard, they're 3 days into the film. It's so fresh. It's so just like there and raw and absolutely amazing. And so thank you for sharing that. That's really touching. And I love all the connection here. It's like, I want to hang out with you guys a lot more than this. And Angel Ray, producer, man, let's dive in, man. Latinos in Hollywood. You know, we've been around these areas for a long time, and a long time. And we've been, me, myself, and, you know, I'll probably upset some people, but like I was watching Queen of the South, and I'm like, oh man, how cool. And so then I look at the cast, and a lot of the cast, they're not even Latino. And I'm like, what the heck, man? It's not like there's a shortage of Mexicans in Los Angeles and Hollywood. So tell us, you as a producer, some success stories and challenges.
Well, like I said, this was definitely a success, coming from, like I said, from the platform of Disneyland, only as a hair and makeup artist only. It was very challenging, even with Disney, to even go to the next level as a Latina, because the majority of all with Disney is they're white corporate managers. So it was very hard for Latinos to even break through to the next level.
Oh yeah,
let alone even blacks to even do that too. So
anybody of color, it was mostly all white that were all managers for Disney. But with this story, what it did for me was break a lot of barriers when it comes to Latino entertainment. And the goal is, when I took the story for Sam, as the Lord was, because I have a personal relation with God, just praying about things like this. Awesome.
What I found through meditation and writing the story and stuff as I was writing, and because I had to fill in areas that we didn't have. I had to fill in the youth authority stuff that we didn't have information about.
Oh, okay.
About Sam's life in the youth authority. That was a big gap, about maybe 10 to 12, 13 years.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
And then after the fact, after his death, there was other areas we still had to fill. And that's the corruption that took place. So with that in mind, I had to come up with characters. I had to come up with several characters in the story, which would have made a great
fictional.
Which made other Latinos come up in their craft as an artist.
Awesome.
Would give them that opportunity. That's why I said Sam's story is Sam's story and a message, but at the same time, it has a double portion of giving a lot of Latinos a lot of coverage on their skill as an actor and as a performer.
Awesome.
Yeah, so his story,
opportunity.
His story is giving opportunity for all of us coming to the next level.
Can I add real quick? So when I first met with all the cast and crew, I felt like I was going to a home, like a family reunion. I was like, my cousins and everything. You know,
These are my peeps.
Yeah, because my mom's even like, "Do you feel comfortable?" I said, "Yeah, it's like I'm with my cousins, anyways." You know, it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because we were all, we're all Latinos there, and I did choose. I specifically and purposely chose a Latina director.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, there was no way. To me was like, I if we're gonna come up, I'm gonna bring my Latino people who I want to
Right
come up.
on.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Because there was a lot of directors who were coming to me, and and I already had my mind made up. I already
Excellent.
knew what I wanted. I already knew what God was already showing me what to do. Like I was really taking, my personal relationship with God was really taking heed to certain things and specific certain things. And there are some people that I'm bringing in. Doing the youth authority that have substance and that have a lot to give to the platform for Latinos.
Awesome.
So the thing is, being that we have such a hard time breaking through entertainment throughout the years.
I've never got that because we're here. Right. Hollywood's right here, born and raised.
And well, because, we were, I'm going to put it this way. There's another scene where in the story after Sam's death regarding the psych area, I literally chose someone who had just done 14 years in prison to bring him out because he has acting skills.
Yep. Awesome.
And I did it purposely to show prison reform.
Oh yeah, very important.
And because Judy's family was really heavy about prison,
right.
as I said from the beginning of prison ministry. So the idea was, not only was I going to pull people to bring from the next level, but talented people for prison reform to show that, show society that a lot of our Latinos were suppressed. A lot of our Latinos didn't have it like other people had it.
Absolutely.
And it's time for like us Latinos that when we get that platform or we get that opportunity or we get that place, is to grab that person's hand and bring them to the platform.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And the only way that's going to happen is people that are at that platform that can do it. And
hey, come with me.
Yes,
they're coming with.
Yes, and I'm sick and tired of seeing people suppress Latinos. I'm tired of it.
Me
I'm
too.
tired of the entertainment. And then I was sharing this with another director regarding Sam's story. And he was trying to give me some ideas, other ideas that were not fitting Sam's character. And I said, no, because that's not Sam. And I'm sick and tired of the industry of Hollywood all the time making Latinos as if they were just gangbangers and that's all we are.
Yeah.
Because that's not true.
Yeah.
There's people who do live a straight life and have unfortunate situations, unfortunate circumstances that come in their life. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, heck yeah.
So I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. We're going to do this. And no. And so I really had to and I guess God had to really choose me because I got really defiant about certain things.
As you should.
Yeah, because I took a stand because I know Judy and I know her family.
And you knew Sam.
And I knew Sam.
And the
so
story.
So to me it was like, no. And eventually, like I said, we brought some people who have been in the background, in like even our actors that have been in like, how do you say it? Like extras.
I was just going to say.
Just for the longest time, they've been extras for so long. It's like, how many times can you be an extra?
Exactly. Just to try to get your foot in the door.
And somewhere as extras. And this story brought certain people in this production to the next level. And they're going to see their talent.
I love it. I love
their talent. And they're amazing. Like I said, one person, they got kind of like one of the directors, because I had a few that I've talked to, and they couldn't understand how is a person, a hair and makeup person, who's not even a casting director, how did she cast this whole cast?
You're like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, and I'm like this, and I said, you know why? Because I had 25 years with Disney with the best performance.
Right.
How can I not do?
You could do a whole thing all by yourself.
You know what I mean? Like I had so much. I have so many years of experience by Disney. That I don't know anything less than a performer. Why?
Right.
Because Disney always gave us the best performers.
Yeah,
they're
right.
Awesome.
They're great entertainers. Disney didn't just like Mickey Mouse it, right?
Yeah.
So Disney
Nice
didn't
one.
do that.
Yeah.
Disney didn't do that. So Disney always had the best performers. So when I see a performer, if I see that they're good. I know they're good.
You know good.
I know good when I see good performers.
That's
and
awesome.
so that's what I did was I casted specifically people for that specific character with reasons because I know they can pull off that character and like I said, but Vanessa, in one case, the only thing that got Vanessa through the crack of the door was because she sang and did the piano.
Yeah.
When she showed me she knew how to act, I was like, oh my God.
There we go.
I go, that's my cousin.
And she sang one of my songs.
Yeah, and then I had to have her sing one of her songs. I go, you got to show Judy you know how to sing the song, and so she did. And I mean, but to me, I'm so proud of her.
Yes,
I mean, it's funny because throughout the years, I've seen my cousin grow up and do music from very young. And so
it's time.
And and you know what? She's overdue. She should have been, it should have been here. But it all in good timing. She's coming out with a boom. And
we're all where we're supposed to be. That's
exactly right now. And I told her also, I said, Vanessa, you take this role, do a double portion, make an album along with it.
Yeah.
And I go, because she's so talented. She's a straight out artist. There's nothing else you could do with
her.
her.
Creator. And I always think, because creative people, singers, artists, we like to dabble in everything.
I know.
Which makes me lean into your book, Judy's book. So she's a singer, she's a musician. She's the mom of Sam, the film that they're currently filming, the true story of her son. And I was a PK, and she walked in and she looked at me, Judy, and she goes, do you know what a PK is? And right away, what's funny? Every time someone says that, though, I think of chicken. CPK, right? And so I was like, wait, no, that's not it. PK, pastor kid. That's right. Yeah. So here's your book right here. Who would have known? I was a PK. Who would have known? Tell us about it, Judy.
Well, you know how they always say that pastors' kids are the worst.
I hear that. I don't. Is it true?
But growing up, my parents were pastors, and I remember thinking, like, that sucks to have parents that are pastors and not just parents.
Yeah.
They got to be pastors of a church. So all the cute guys would say, isn't your father the reverend? So that would kill all my action.
This is out in L.A.? It would kill all my action.
Anyway, so I write about how, and back in the day, everything was very strict. It was very legalistic. You couldn't wear makeup. You couldn't wear pants. Your hair, you couldn't draw attention to yourself, you couldn't go movies, everything was wrong, and so I write about what that experience was like as a pastor's daughter. So many pastors' kids grow up resenting,
I'm sure,
religion, resenting God, and that's not the God I serve today, and it's not the same relationship I have with God. And so that's why I was one of those pastor's daughters gone wild, where I did things that you would never believe.
Oh, I'm sure we would believe.
Oops. And she's a pastor's daughter, including going to jail. Because I got involved in drugs. I got involved in illegal criminal activities, organized crime in Chicago, New York, Kansas. And there was one last incident that we were basically ambushed, and all my bodyguards, everyone died, but myself and one person.
Whoa.
And so I asked God during that time, if you allow me, please don't let me go out like this. Please don't let me die like this. I don't want to be remembered like this. But if you allow me to live, I will serve you hard all the way. I'll serve you, but don't let me die like this. When everything's over, I'm the only one standing. Wow. So you have to read the book. But God brought me back to the faith. And now I serve him. I have a ministry called KIR, K-I-R, Keeping It Real. We've got like 6 chapters throughout California, Fontana, Victorville.
You guys are out here.
Yes, Victorville, Covina, Silicon Valley, and Sacramento, and Long Beach.
Wow.
And so we have these women support groups. So God has been able to turn my mess into a message. And today I'm a better woman and not a bitter woman. And so I believe in transparency. I believe in keeping it real. And people are up to here with religion and, so-called, God and religious people that just keep it real.
Just
please. Simple, keep it real. And don't be something you're not. Don't try and pretend. And so my whole ministry, my whole life is about being real with people. And whether some people believe in my way of, it doesn't matter. I have total victory in my life. I'm a total different person. I have victory over many things in my past, and I'm not a prisoner to my past.
Right.
I am who I am today. My mess today is my message.
That is so awesome. Oh my goodness. You're like the mom of like the world, just all these amazing things. I mean, she's just been giving, you're giving and giving. She's been giving.
Up to today, she still mentors me.
God, I just can't believe it. So I want to I want to go to Facebook. There's so many comments. I looked down and I was like, what the heck? Because I saw a few comments and then I refreshed it and I was like, whoa. So Anna Garcia was laughing, probably, I don't know, maybe laughing at you. No, just
Or me.
or me. Yeah, who cares? Yeah. I truly believe God was guiding you as to who to cast. Anna Garcia said, come on, thank you, Jesus. Anna Garcia. Joanne Danny Garza. I love Judy. She is the real deal. I love to hear her sing. Anna Garcia says the same thing. How beautiful what God has done. Krista Braden says, I love you, Aunt Judy.
Oh, cool.
And Lucia Ochoa Gomez.
Lucia,
Yes, my niece Vanessa is a go-getter. She's good for the part. You got a winner with her.
Yes.
Awesome. Vanessa Romero said, "Oh, thank you." she's already doing her
already on
work.
it, yeah.
That's excellent. No, that's great. Let's see. Gosh, Sharon Garcia. God bless you all. When does the movie come out?
That's a good
Yes,
question.
good question.
Very good question.
And we're actually working on so much right now regarding let me say something. Like the COVID really put the brakes on us.
Yeah.
We had like 4 events that were going to help fundraise. You know, I had some great hosts that
Tell me about it. Now I'll bring my crew out there.
I had the host from Operational Repo, one of the hosts from Matt and Freud. They were going to come out and host out an event for us. I had a couple other people that were going to come out and host us on other events. And because of the COVID, all that shut down.
Right.
So if anything right now at this point for the trailer, we did the trailer according to the budget, what I had, and a few others that pitched in. We started I believe it is a GoFund.
We're going to be doing a GoFundMe.
GoFundMe.
You share it with me. I'm here. I would love to help you.
Absolutely.
Help you ladies with anything.
So the GoFundMe is Vanessa will be producing that soon. And the whole point is to raise some funds so that we can actually start doing the production again, like starting to finish off all the script or, everything that was written. And hopefully we can have it done by December.
Oh, wow. That's soon.
As long as we have the finances, we can have it done by December. We can get it done by December, which later will go out into we'll have like a premiere, go out and give it to the, to the theaters and do a big premiere.
Excellent.
And like I said, invited to the premiere.
I would love to be at the red carpet so I could interview everybody.
Right. Yes.
Would that be okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent.
And we're looking for some sponsors too, to have them on the backdrop and stuff. And
Rag House Media would love to sponsor.
Yes.
We'll bring our cameras out and everything.
Yes.
And I have a great idea. So for Sam's Cry, because I believe so much into this, and Vanessa had reached out, and I was just like going through stuff, and then finally I'm like, okay, what did Vanessa want to say? And I read it, and I just immediately started crying because I looked into the stuff, and I was just like, oh my God, because my son's 14, so I have a son, so anything we could do, I think it would be great, and maybe like a month or to have a live fun show. So people, we could talk about the funding.
Yes, absolutely.
People could call in and say, I just donated. Maybe we could get some things to give away to people who donate certain amounts.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So let's talk about that, because I think the live is what really brings it to life. People are able to call in.
Yeah, because we need people to. This message is so educating to everybody.
Right.
It has so much knowledge, life experience. That it's important for people to have that knowledge behind this story. You're going to get so much from it. Really.
People hear these stories and you read about them. You never think it's going to knock on your door.
Yeah.
You never think it's going to touch your child.
Yeah.
And when it does, you're devastated.
Yes.
So you never know when it's going to be your neighbor or your own personal. So it could be any one of us.
Yes.
That's why it's relevant to everyone.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's a movement.
It's a movement. And as the women said when they entered, they said this whole process is giving back. Sam just keeps giving and giving and giving in a lot of ways.
Yes.
So that if there was a tragic situation, God has a way of turning things around for the good. So if someone can be set free, someone can be touched and moved by this horrific story of my son that I share with the world, then it's worth it.
Right.
It's worth it.
Absolutely.
And it's Sam's Cry currently being filmed. See, I'm holding back tears.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a big deal. So, currently being filmed. You heard with the pandemic, it is on a halt. They are going to start a GoFundMe. Sam's Cry, check them out. They're on Instagram. They're on Facebook. There's a website.
Yes.
No, not yet.
Okay,
Not yet.
a website up and coming. Again, they just started the whole process. Judy, the mom of Sam, and I know I've repeated it over and over. Sorry for those tuning in through the whole segment, but it is a story about someone going into a hospital for an evaluation, and in less than 4 hours was they suffocated him. Asphyxiated. So Judy, the mom, has been fighting years and years and years, had 2 laws changed, and you're just so amazing. You're such an amazing woman.
Yes, you are, Judy.
Sued the state and the feds. Took me 5 years, but beat them both.
Man.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have to have T-shirts and a crown for you and a throne.
Next time we come, we'll wear them.
Yes,
Today we just want to look cute.
Yeah, and we have Vanessa, the lead actress, who's playing Judy in the movie Sam's Cry, and we have producer Angel Ray. Thank you, ladies, so much. Any shout-outs before we go?
Shout-outs, ladies.
No, I just want to thank everybody in the production team, the cast and the crew for all your support and just being there, encouraging me also through DMs. And I also want to tell somebody that I love you and I stand by you. I stand by your dream and you know who you are. And God bless.
There you go.
And I want to say thank you to everyone out there. We hope that you come back to our fundraiser because this is a good cause.
Yes.
And I feel the love from everybody. Thank you all. And thank God that he took something, a negative, a horrible, sad thing, and I believe God has turned it around for good.
Yes.
That there is hope and there is justice. It may not be today, it might not be in 6 months, but justice will come because we serve a just God.
Yes.
And now the movie is going to say it all.
Yes, it is.
Sam's Cry. Check it out. If, again, on Instagram and Facebook, a story about her son who was asphyxiated at a hospital. Check it out, please. And if you have any questions, you could reach out to me. You could reach out to anyone that's here. Thank you so much for tuning in to Rag House Radio. Love you, ladies.
Thank you.
Love you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Would you be so honored to please sign my banner
Okay.
as we go out?
Okay.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
And again, Sam's Cry. Check it out.
Alrighty.
We do it.